Welcome back to Tony Sports Games for an SNCFL season preview. It is September 3rd, 2066. 2026. No, 2066 in the SNCFL, the Simnation College Football League. One of the longest running draft day sports college football leagues out there. And we are once again ready for the start of a new exciting season. Wanted to run you through the off season that we had. It was a crazy off season. We had a ton of staff changes because we changed the kind of automatic retirement age for coaches that was missing before. So we had a lot of 80 and 90-year-old coaches in the league. The really old guys are all gone. A lot of teams were scrambling, poaching, fighting for coaches. It actually made the coach hiring cycle, which is usually kind of a snoozer, it made it really exciting and kind of fun. I mean, I don't want to go through that every year, but it was pretty exciting. So we had that. And then, as kind of a bummer in the spring, we had a very tame, lukewarm, late recruiting window because there was a bug last season that almost no one transferred. So we had very little, a lot of teams like ourselves at SMU, we didn't have any free scholarships to even use in the portal. I also made it tough for some of our new coaches that either took on new teams like zero to hero projects or that just joined the league because they didn't have as much to choose from in the late window recruiting. So it's going to make some of our new coaches' jobs a little harder in their first seasons here in the league. Speaking of which, I wanted to welcome some of our new coaches, the three that I noticed. And if I missed anyone, please put in the comments. I'll make sure to include them in the mid-season update video. But Getaroff at Washington State, taking over Wazoo. Don Lookey at Penn State, and Quick to Lose at Louisville. So welcome to the new guys. There's going to be a lot of familiar faces in the top 25 here, as you guys probably could have guessed. We've got probably our 8 super teams here at the top. I don't know if they're all super teams. I would say they're all pretty close. But Auburn, starting out preseason number 1, UCLA. That's Invisible Witness, of course. UCLA, Stewart, number 2. Our 2-time defending national champions, the Maryland Terrapins, with our commissioner Darren at number 3. Pretty incredible. You can be back-to-back national champions and find a way to get a chip on the boys' shoulder. So thank you so much to the pollsters for contributing to all of our misery as Maryland somehow sells to the world that they're underdogs. Shark and the Georgia Bulldogs at number 4. Skeltor and his number 1 squad, the ULM Warhawks, defending SEC champions at number 5. Stewart's second team, the Michigan Wolverines, at number 6. Matt and his Clemson Tigers at 7. Skelter's second team, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, at number 8. And then we have a couple CPU teams here in Ohio State and Coastal Carolina. Obviously, either one of these would be excellent teams to take over if someone wanted to jump in and make an immediate impact. They're very, very good teams. Starfinder, starting out number 11 in the preseason poll with the Florida Gators. Congrats to Starfinder. I think that's probably their highest starting position in the 3 seasons that I've been here. I could be missing something, but Starfinder's there. Stewart's third team, the Duke Blue Devils, starting preseason at number 12. And then we have, I believe, CPU Nebraska, CPU East Carolina, CPU Louisiana, Lafayette Raging Cajuns. I don't remember. I think Florida State CPU, but I could be missing something there. Same with Virginia Tech, Houston, Miami, Florida, Western Michigan, TCU, Texas, Colorado State, Iowa State, and Illinois. I believe all of these are CPU teams. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody. But so we're going to be really exciting there. As you can see from the recruiting class rankings, for the second season in a row, congrats to Skelter, Okie State Cowboys, with the number 1 recruiting class in all the land. Number 2, UCLA. 3, Getaroff and Washington State. So great job there. Number 4, Southern Mississippi, the Golden Eagles, with a lot of players, as you can imagine, in this recruiting class. I think this is Darren. 4 teams weren't enough. He had to add another one, another Zero to Hero project for our commissioner, Darren. I think he's going to make some videos on this too. So as always, I'll link Darren's YouTube in the description. Also, he does a league preview video, so you'll probably want to check that out. Also, the number 1 prestige relative recruiting class for Darren. Although number 2 for Quick to Lose in Louisville. So nice job, grabbing as many recruits as possible in the late window there. 5, Matt and the Clemson Tigers. 6, Stewart's Duke Blue Devils. Nice recruiting class for Duke. 7, Invisible Witness taking over at Tulsa. Love to see that for us. Just making our division harder. Thanks a lot, Invisible. But, Tulsa showing up in both the overall rankings and the prestige relative rankings, along with Southern Mississippi as well. And was there another one? Was Washington State on here? No, I think that's it. As far as schools that are on both. Anyway, 8, Maryland Terrapins. 9, ULM Warhawks. And 10, the Michigan Wolverines. If you're new here, by the way, ULM is in the SEC in this league, and they are a powerhouse. Skelter has been building them up for a long, long time. So those are the top recruiting classes. If you look at the top overall recruits, the number 1 commit in the nation was an offensive tackle. Tony Scott went to Invisible Witness and the runner-up Auburn Tigers from last year. He's strong. He's a really good pass blocker already. He's a really good run blocker. Pretty good speed. Not much for hands. And has kind of okay agility. Really skilled in all 3 offensive line positions. So probably going to be a pretty useful player for quite a while to come for Invisible. And I don't know. I mean, it's possibly even has some room to grow beyond this, which would be really nice. And then Darren. The rich get richer. Darren gets the number 1 quarterback in the country, this Eugene Hill, and he's a very excellent player. I suppose this is going to be Shaka Chung's backup this year. He's a locker room leader as well. So if Shaka leaves after this season, of course, we're all very happy to hear that Maryland will just not miss a beat and go straight to this guy. Now, Darren was saying something after spring games about how this guy might replace Shaka. I'm calling cap on that. There's no way you're benching Shaka Chung, Darren. We know you're bluffing. We hope. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's benching Shaka. But, will Eugene see some playing time this year just to keep him happy? That's definitely possible, and he's an excellent player already. 100 positional skill. So huge get for Darren there. Big time for Getteroff and Washington State Cougars getting the number 2 quarterback in the country, Rodney Lee. He's a faithful geek, so he studies tape. He's an excellent quarterback already as well. Even pretty good strength, pretty decent agility. He's fast. He's probably going to be good at avoiding sacks. He's also, has elite intelligence. He's about to have elite arm and accuracy as well. A really excellent player. Huge for your turnaround of a program like Wazoo. That's just a really big deal. Now, did he decommit from somebody? Wow, no, he didn't. All these teams were scrapping for this guy all season, and he committed to Washington State. So congratulations to Getteroff. That's huge. You see UCLA, Clemson, Central Florida, Alabama, Cincinnati, a lot of teams, Memphis. A lot of teams wanted this guy. Getteroff gets him. Congrats. A couple other 5-star quarterbacks up here as well. But the number 1 defensive player goes to Stewart and the UCLA Bruins. It's Bo Cloud. He's pretty big. 6'6", 263 defensive end. He's pretty strong already. 74 speed, decent. Let's see, he's a bull rusher. So more than enough speed for a bull rusher. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. A couple other 5-star quarterbacks on here. Stewart gets one of them in Charles Culver. And yeah, you have to ask Stewart what he thinks of this guy. He has really good accuracy. He's very athletic. 72 agility, 73 speed. I don't know if Stewart's planning on playing him right away this year or if he needs to develop a little bit. But big one there. And then the other 5-star quarterback, the number 4 quarterback in the class, was our guy, Clifford Fitzgerald. A huge get for us last year. I can confirm that Clifford Fitzgerald will be the SMU Mustangs starting quarterback in 2066. Came back pretty good. Elite intelligence, elite accuracy, pretty good arm. We'll see if he has room to grow a little bit from there. Pretty, okay intangibles, not elite. The couple things where he definitely is lacking a bit, he's very weak and he's not very agile. So he's really going to be a statue in the pocket, and probably if anyone gets a finger on him, he's just going to fall down. So he's probably going to get sacked more than our starting quarterback last year in Jamel Jones. But as I mentioned last year at the end of the season, after 2 seasons of coaching this player here, Jamel, I just haven't been able to get the best out of him. I am planning on redshirting him this season, and if he decides to hit the portal, it would be cool to see someone else pick him up. He would be a player with 2 years of eligibility left after the season. So, we'll see if he grows anymore beyond what he has already. He has added a few points over the last couple years. If he even decides to transfer, but he's not going to be starting for us anymore. We are moving on. So if he does, it'd be interesting to see if anybody decides to pick our old friend Jamel up, and if they can build a system around him a little bit better than I was able to do the last 2 years. If you look ahead to our season now, our schedule, it does not get off to a soft start. We start out at Colorado, a 10-win team from last year, then at number 13 Nebraska, and then home against number 15 Louisiana Lafayette, who beat us by about 40 last year. Although then they were coached by Invisible Witness. Now they're a CPU team. So, before we get our last non-conference game in week 4, home against Ball State. So it's a tricky first 3 weeks here, especially breaking in a new starting quarterback. If we can somehow win all 3 of these, of course, I'll be ecstatic. I am pretty optimistic about this year's team. I think I have the most to work with that I've had out of my first 3 seasons here. So I'm expecting us to really make a push for the American Athletic Conference title again. This season, a lot like last season, I can already see it. Our conference schedule, it's going to probably come down to week 12 against Houston. I would assume they're going to be the top CPU team on our side of the bracket. And this game's probably going to have some major conference title game implications. Also, we play at Van and Memphis in week 6. Memphis was down last year, really struggled. Van did pull together a nice recruiting class. He's got some impact players that came in, especially on defense. And playing at Memphis in week 6 is going to be a challenge. If we can at least get off to a 2-1 start, I'll be okay. If it's 1-2, I'm going to be a little disappointed. If we somehow start 0-3, I can't allow that to happen. I'll be pretty bummed out. But we'll see what we can do. Of course, a lot of our offense this year, as last year, is going to run through our kind of star running back, Zeke Jackson. Rushed for over 1,400 yards last year, and he's going to be toting the rock. Probably, I would guess he's going to have over 256 rushing attempts this year. So we'll see what he can do. I think, especially easing a new true freshman quarterback into things, we would like to run the ball a lot early in the season, and hopefully we can get that done. We've got some, talented players, offensive players. I've switched to defensive positions, athletically talented, but not positionally skilled. So we'll see what kind of start we can get our defense off to. But overall, I'm pretty optimistic. Of course, I'm very excited. I can't wait to get things rolling here. Now, if we look at let's just look at our conference. Darren looks at everything as a whole. I just want to look at the American Athletic. In the East, unfortunately, Froggy's no longer at Central Florida, so rest in peace, Froggy. Time constraints, life gets in the way, which is understandable. But so no human players again up here in the AAC East, and we need one or two. So if you guys are interested in joining, come take one of these teams. As far as the outlook for this side of the bracket here, I would expect ECU to be the class of the American Athletic East once again. UCF, Temple, South Florida, and Cincy were all bowl eligible last year. So we'll see where things shake out after ECU, but I would be shocked if any of these teams end up over ECU. Cincinnati is the one where they still have a lot of talented players. They have pretty healthy prestige. But the 2 years since I've been in the league, their CPU coaches just have not been able to get it together. So will things turn around for them this year? I don't know. But they have the talent to push ECU, but they haven't performed the last 2 years. They would be a great team to take over, by the way. Wouldn't be a complete rebuild. Start out with pretty decent prestige. In the West here, Houston's going to be up here. I think it's going to be Houston, us. I do expect Memphis to take quite a step forward here with Van this year. And then, I don't know. I don't know if Invisible can go from, 0 to hero in his first year. I guess that's the point of doing one, isn't it? I do not want to underestimate Invisible Witness. He's an excellent coach. He brought in a lot of new talent. Tulsa could definitely push us for the West as well. So really, I think Houston, SMU, Memphis, Tulsa. Tulane was okay last year, but I think they're going to get squeezed out with some improvements from Memphis and Tulsa. Navy's going to be at the bottom again. UConn's going to be at the bottom again. I can almost guarantee that. But it will be very, very interesting. Now, we do play Memphis. We do not play Tulsa and Invisible Witness. So, it'll be interesting. By the midseason update, some of this should be taking shape, and we'll really see how things, are looking in our conference here. Hopefully we get off to a decent start. Of course, I can tell the boys that we're being disrespected starting outside the top 25 with both ECU and Houston ranked. But then again, we did lose to both of them last year, so that may be completely fair as well. Moving ahead to just look at the Week 1 games. Now, there's not a ton of premium human versus human matchups this season. In fact, the only human versus human matchups I can find, you got Vanilla Gorilla in Wyoming against Tulsa. Getarov's first game with Wazoo is on the road at Georgia, so good luck there. That's a fun way to open up your career in the SNCFL. Hey, I had to play at UCLA, at Stewart's UCLA team my first season. So if you can lose by less than 50, you already did much better than I did in my debut in this league. Let's see. I think there was at least one or two other ones, but I'm just breezing through here to see if I can find them. Not a lot of super compelling Week 1 matchups. Let's see. All the way down at the bottom here, Buffalo with Curtis, now in his first full season at the helm, travels to Iowa. That's Kev. And so that'll be an interesting matchup. It's a little bit of a displaced rivalry because in the WWPF, our Draft Day Sports Pro League that runs with players that graduate from the SNCFL, by the way, Kevin is the New York Jets and Curtis is the Buffalo Bills. So I suppose the rivalry could not be contained to just the pro game. They got to get after it in the college game as well. So good luck to both those guys. Also ourselves, we're kind of taking over Eastern Michigan. I'm going to be doing a lot less with them, but have a weird system I want to try running. So we're going to pay less attention to them, but they're opening at Syracuse. Probably going to be a rough opening. I cut a bunch of guys before I realized there wasn't going to be much of a portal, so I struggled to bring in decent players. Go Mustangs. We'll see you at the midseason update video. And thanks as always for watching. I'll see you in the next video.